Iraq. That moment, you must have been under huge pressure to join the United States, to join Great Britain, two of Canada's staunchest allies. That moment, when you decided not to do it, did you recognize that might be a turning point moment, in, not just for you, but in Canadian history, about what would happen for the next number of years?
You don't think that way. You look at the problem and you say, what I have to do, what Canada should do. And for me, it became clear quite rapidly. We will not join if there is not the UN there. And to have the UN, I said that to George Bush, I said, you need better proof of weapons of mass destruction. I never believed that. And that was the main reason. I had discussion. I had more discussion about the possibility of going to war with Tony Blair than with George Bush. I always had a suspicion that Tony had said to George, I would take care of Jean, type of situation.
You thought that?
No, in retrospect,
right.
Because, I was very friendly with Tony. I knew him more than I knew George. And, we were both part of, during the time of Clinton, of the annual meeting of the Progressist leaders and so on. And you read in his book, he make very nice comment about me and so on. So we had good personal relation. And he tried to convince me. And I remember a conversation I had with him. He said, Saddam is a terrible dictator, Jean. I said, of course, Tony, he's a terrible dictator. But if we're in the business of replacing all the dictators we don't like, who is next? And by the way, you're the number one in the Commonwealth, and I'm probably the number two. And there's a guy I don't like very much, is in Zimbabwe, Mugabe. Why don't we solve the problem in the family first? And he said to me, oh yes, but Saddam and Mugabe, it's not the same thing. I said, of course, Mugabe has no oil. And
you said that to Tony Blair.
Yeah, and he didn't like it. But I said, no, if we have the UN, we'll be there. And I remember it was a meeting we had in Africa. It was probably a meeting of the Commonwealth. And that he went, I said, you have to convince George to get a resolution